So Jade.
Hi Claire.
Now we're going to start off with an architect. Obviously architecture normally involves building pretty concrete permanent buildings, but this particular architect has been recognised for his work helping people out and making temporary shelters.
Yeah, that's right. Japanese architect Shigeru Ban has been awarded the Pritzker Architecture Prize. Now this has been likened to the Nobel Prize of Architecture Awards, so it's extremely prestigious, and normally it's awarded to architects who help humanity and the environment, and Ban really could not be more deserving of this. He's best known perhaps for creating shelters, as you said, for areas that have been hit by natural disasters. For example, he stepped in when the Christchurch Cathedral in New Zealand was destroyed in the 2011 earthquake, and created a temporary sanctuary which was fashioned mainly out of cardboard tubes, so quite unusual. He's also created temporary housing in Japan when that was hit by the tsunami and the earthquake. He's credited really with challenging traditional notions of domestic space and what it means to have a roof over your head, and often uses locally sourced materials that are easy to mount and dismount. Now, Frans van Kat caught up with the architect and asked him why he chooses to use these materials.
Friendly things, but also I didn't start not because of environmental issue. I just started using this because it's very inexpensive and also available anywhere. And I started using this for the refugee camp in Rwanda, Africa, for United Nations High Commission Refugees. It was more difficult that time because nobody was really interested in such a material. But now it's much easier to convince people because of the sustainable issue.
Two creations of a different kind now. You've been speaking to an artist who's brought his graffiti style to canvas.
That's right. John Wan grew up in Harlem in New York, where he was surrounded by graffiti, and he started tagging trains when he was just a teenager. He then went on to become quite an intrinsic part of the street art scene there. He founded a graffiti crew called 156 All Stars. It was then that he met another artist called Bando, who convinced John Wan to move to Paris in the mid-80s, and here he met another artist called A1, who sort of introduced him to the gallery scene.
These are not their real names, are they?
Yeah, well, no, they're more their artistic names that they go by. So he then decided to swap his spray cans for paintbrushes and started creating graffiti-inspired, very colourful pieces of work on canvas. He's gone on to achieve great success. His work sold for tens of thousands of euros, and he told me earlier today that the transition from the street to the gallery was actually an easy one because of the type of art that he creates.
It was an evolution for me. It was just like, I think my work, it fit into a canvas, whereas some artists that paint in the streets, their work is more made to be seen in the streets, whereas my work, the way it evolved, it was common. It was like obvious that it was to be put on canvases, and people were supposed to come to galleries to see it.
Well, if you want to find out more about John Wan's artistic journey from the streets to the gallery, you can check out the full interview at 5:15 this afternoon, Paris time.
Okay, Jade, now to wrap things up, you're going to tell us what you get when you cross France's biggest rock star with the country's most famous film director.
That's right. You get a film called Salut en Thème, which can be translated into English as a beloved bastard. Now, I don't think the name is necessarily a reflection of film director Claude Lelouch's feelings or relationship with his long-time pal, Jolly Halliday, who stars in the film. Now, the director and Halliday go a long way back. Lelouch filmed several of Halliday's music videos back in the 60s, and Halliday starred in one of his films, playing himself, actually, in the film Money, Money, Money. But it's been some 40 years since they've worked together, and now they're back with this film. Halliday plays a retired war photographer who's really focused more on his career and neglected his family. He's got 4 children with 4 different wives and has rather a strained relationship with the children. Lelouch actually created the story and this character for Halliday particularly. Halliday says he can identify with the character. He himself, of course, being a music star and being on the road all the time, has often been away while his children were growing up. But so too does the film director identify with this character. He told Frans van Kat's French culture program that he can identify with some of the themes in this film.
I had the good fortune to have 7 children with 5 different mums, so life wasn't exactly easy. And it's true that I spent more time behind my camera and on my films than with those who were close to me. Eventually, you start to feel guilty about that. I was very unhappy that I couldn't take my kids to school. I didn't read them bedtime stories, never made them do their homework. So I felt I hadn't been the best father, and that's what this film's about. About a man who wants to make up for lost time.
All right, that's it for Culture. Thanks very much, Jade. See you soon. Time now for sports, and we kick things off with all the latest football action from the English Premier League.